End of the world as we know it. It's the end of the world as we know it. Hello again, all my friends out there, fellow FTFLers, and the fine... Wait, hold on one moment. Something's not quite right here. Oh, yeah. The camera angle was just a tad bit to the right. I guess you call it wide right camera angle, if that's correct. But again, yes, hello my FTFLers, fine friends, and each and every one of the men and women patrolling the mean streets of Park Rapids. Excellent work up there. Keep it up. Boy, week 2 is in the books, and I know maybe it feels a little bit like the end of the world. The whole league is turned upside down, and you have to wonder, is this the new normal? Maybe it is. I mean, because John is now 2-0. Atop the North Division, arguably best team in the entire league. Le'Veon Bell still nowhere to be found, and maybe, just maybe, causing problems in disarray by his absence and nonchalance in Pittsburgh. Dan Bailey. Maybe he was the right kicker after all. I won't ever know. I'm not dropping yet another kicker because, let's be honest, kickers are worthless, meaningless. That's why you don't keep them. Looking forward to covering the results from this week. Of course, we have another installment of Don't Be Salty. Week 2. Yeah, it's in the books. And in some ways, you're like, yeah, week 2, we've got 11 to go. We do. However, week 2 definitely is a litmus test going forward for playoff aspirations. Over the last 5 years, teams that have started 2-0 have made the playoffs 77% of the time. On the flip side, teams that have started 0-2 have missed the playoffs 75% of the time. So if you're 2-0, you're looking great. If you're 0-2, well, I'm saying there's still a chance. And for record's sake, the last team to start 2-0 and miss was Sid last year. And boy, what a miss. Epic. Flames engulfing as it went down. The boat sunk and everybody went with it. Again, on the flip side, last team to start 0-2 and make the playoffs was Andy in 2016. It can be done, but will it be done? On to the games this week. First game, the only matchup of undefeated teams, the marquee matchup, if you will. The Pack Attack taking on the Monkeys, both 1-0, and really on the scoreboard, it wasn't much of a marquee. 74.5 for the Pack Attack, 68 for the Monkeys. That's it. If you're the Pack Attack, your team was led by Mason Crosby. That's right. If you're paying attention at home, he is a kicker that was drafted late in the draft. Not kept. But if he's going to lead the team in scoring, maybe Eric should just go ahead and lock it in for next year. Make it happen. Keep Crosby. Drew Brees, 16. Brandon Cooks, 13.5. Everyone else under 6.5. Lots of points on the bench. This could have been a better week for Eric. If you're Saltmarsh, Brady was 16. Mike Evans, 15. DeAndre Hopkins, 15. Antonio Brown, 8.5. His receivers doing what they're supposed to be doing. Everyone else, though, 5 and below, including a 0. Smell that? I think I caught a whiff of the dud. Maybe. 0 from Rex Burkhead, and more bad news on the running back front. Joe Mixon out for a couple weeks, had arthroscopic surgery. Salty down to 1-1. Eric now one of only 2 teams in the league without a crooked number in the loss column. I suppose 1 really isn't a crooked number. However, it is lonely. Next game of the week, the absolutely on fire Team Linkowitz taking on yours truly in Saltmarsh. I watched last week and Don't Be Salty. When you say yours truly, it's supposed to mean you, not somebody else. Just as a pointer, the Hulkamaniacs, this one was, I guess, kind of close. John, for the second week in a row, scores over 100 points, 100.5 points to my 84.5. If you're Linkowitz, the last time you scored more than 100 points in a season, more than twice, we have to go all the way back to 2013. You are on the precipice with 11 weeks to go of shattering your own records, all up and down. For Linkowitz, no one real big standout. Smith-Schuster with 20.5. Garoppolo, the right Jimmy, with 16. Saquon Barkley had 13. Just all sorts of catches, not a lot of yards. Isaiah, big play Crowell, came in with only 3. And the vaunted Vikings defense scratched together 4 whole points. Those were the only 2 in the starting lineup below 9. The keeper tacked on 9 points as well. For me, Todd Gurley, holy cow, 27.5. Will Fuller, the 5th, tacked on 20. Aaron Rodgers only mustered 10. No one else on my team was above 7.5. I have not been the worst team every week. However, I have not been good enough to notch a victory. Hogan was on my bench with 15.5 and Watkins too. Together, they would have got me the win, but boy, it would have been real tight. I fall to 0-2 and am still searching while John marches to the beat of his own drum. I have to believe at some point his tight end is going to get tired from all of that flex. And when it does, I'm sure there'll be people in this league ready to pounce. That's right. Next game, speaking of things that will lose their, shape, overall tautness, Ryan Deesum bringing in, you guessed it, his old, decrepit, just forlorn for the years of youth, titties and balls, coming in at 1-0, the champ, 1-0, taking on the Architect, 0-1, and the Architect, up until this point, had only beat Deesum once in his entire existence in the FTFL, and this week, you can make it 2. 89.5 to 84, the closest game of the week in the FTFL, and with that win, I now am in sole possession of worst single record against an opponent across any of the rivalries throughout this very storied league. Thank you, Matt, for doing that. Stafford 24, Algahar 16, Ezekiel Elliott 12.5, Kenyon Drake with 12, everyone above 5 except for Larry Fitzgerald, and boy, he is stuck on a terrible team. More on that terrible team later. Again, his second victory against Deesum in all of his time in the league. If you're Deesum, he did all right, but again, not good enough. Travis Kelce, and part of that absolute explosion in Kansas City, 21.5 points. The Rams defense 13. Andrew Luck with 14, Alvin Kamara, Marshawn Lynch, 11 apiece, and Greg Legatron, 0-line, tacked on a 0. He's got a sore groin. I believe this was a problem last year. It may even be why he missed the Fantasy Bowl when Swart, remember that, didn't have enough players on his bench to actually field a full lineup in the Fantasy Bowl? Holy cow. Matt Ryan on the bench with 28 could have made a difference. Alas, he didn't. They are now both 1-1 as we head into week 3. And now we will head into, once again, the brand new segment this year. I give you, man, don't be salty.
Hello there, my friends. This is Saltmarsh of the Salties from the Radioactive Monkeys, your host of Don't Be Salty, Man. Just don't do it. Well, this week started with yours truly, the owner of the Radioactive Monkeys, playing the Pack Attack. The Pack Attack had an efficiency rating of 75.6, which was the lowest of the whole entire week. And you think the Saltmarsh could have done better than he did. Nope. He lost. Yeah, he could have probably won if Bulkhead would have done something more than a big goose egg. That didn't happen. He put up a goose egg. I could have put a different running back in. Maybe could have won. But I'm not going to be salty because I don't need to be salty about the lowest efficiency rating beating me. But Saltmarsh, damn bro, don't be salty. Our next victim is Brett playing the Liquids, the Hulkamanias. If you would have just switched your wide receivers to Hogan and Sammy, you could have probably won that. But no, you didn't. You laid the smackdown on your show. You gave him the thunder. You put the little punch in. You put him in the ring. And John's like, no, that's okay. Don't worry about it. I'm going to beat you. So Brett, my friend, don't be salty. Our next victim of Don't Be Salty is yours truly again, Ryan Deesum, with his titties and his balls. Yeah, titties and balls. You know, hey, you need some titties and balls? Call Ryan Deesum. He's got titties and balls. If you would have just switched your luck for Ryan, you probably would have won this. Dude, you're going into this match beating the pants off of the architect, Matt. You were 2-10 against Matt. But you had the second lowest efficiency rating of 77.4. So to that I say, don't be salty, man. Just don't be salty. But the biggest salt of all the salts is the entire FTFL. FTLL? I don't know. Because we're laughing stocks of the league? Dude, I got to get my hats off to that old man Winter up in North Minnesota, bald head guy, just does his thing, goes against the grain from every angle that you can go. He is like Mr. Grain Guy. He keeps a kicker. He has all these draft picks. He's drafting defenses in the early rounds. He's doing all these crazy moves. And at the end of the day, to the entire FTFL, he is throwing the salt shaker on our wounds because we are hurting. Not even the King of the North could beat him. This guy is kicking his way to a victory? What is going on? I mean, we know the Vikings struggle with some kicking action, but there might be a new one in town. That's good. Thank you, Vikings, for reading your Facebook posts. But at the end of the day, delinquents and the rest of the FTFL, man, are we ashamed? Are we struck by some thunder? Is the salt mountain coming down on the rest of us? I don't know. But all I got to say, everyone else besides John, let's not be salty. So hey, remember, next week, week 3, don't try to be salty.
All right, I'm noticing a bit of a trend here. I'm on this now twice. I mean, and deservedly so. Again, yours truly is when you're talking about yourself. Other people, you probably want to do something a little bit differently. As far as everyone being salty about Lincoln Woods, listen, we don't know how to react to this. This is all brand new territory to us. And so we're all just kind of learning as we go. And go we will on to the next game. Mana, 3-time Lucky Pants champ Mana, taking on the Pit of Misery, Dilly Dilly. Two teams who I look at this and I'm not entirely sure what either team is. High score, kind of lower score, although Andy 87 would have beat me, and then you flip-flopped. I look at your teams and I mean I can't believe 120 is going to be the norm for either of you. Marks are 34 for Roethlisberger, AJ Green with a huge night on Thursday Night Football, 24.5. Adam Thielen with a really just stupid late touchdown. Kendall Bryce, reach your hand out and just knock the ball, just knock it down. Knock it down. And the game is over. James Conner, 14.5. His running backs, though, the strength of Jeff's team. Leonard Fournette didn't play. David Johnson is stuck in absolute fantasy wasteland. Got 2 points. LaShawn McCoy, 6 points. The Buffalo Bills and the Arizona Cardinals are by far and away the 2 worst teams in the league, and I don't see that getting any better. AJ Green is not going to score 24.5 every single week. Roethlisberger will put up points. But boy, oh boy. Now, Matt Breida on the bench, 21.5. Maybe he's the answer to help Marks have a little bit more sustained success in the scoring. If you're Andy, it is also running back that are going to be questions going forward. Michael Thomas is the real deal, 22 points. O.J. Howard knocks in 17.5. Russell, I can't stand that guy. Wilson, 16 points. And Tevin Coleman with 10. Now, Andy's running backs combined. That's Tevin Coleman, that's Deion Lewis, and T.J. Yeldon for 17.5. Let's run through that list. Tevin Coleman, when Devontae Freeman is healthy, he's sharing a backfield. T.J. Yeldon, when Leonard Fournette is healthy, he's getting way less touches. Deion Lewis is sharing a backfield with Derrick Henry. I know, Le'Veon Bell hasn't reported and probably won't for some time. Jerick McKinnon got hurt. This week is probably closer to what we can expect from Andy going forward. There really wasn't a lot on the bench, and so as he falls to 1-1, I'm not entirely sure there's a lot of excitement there for the Pit of Misery. Dilly Dilly, then again, it is the Pit of Misery. So misery there shall be. Last game of the week, taking on the Salt Shaker Dance. Well, the team taking on the Salt Shaker Dance was none other than the King of the North, who, of course, comes into this game 0-1. in the South Division, brought the thunder this week, and the King raised his fist and declared, I am better than you, Adam Swart. At least on this day, 129.5 to 98 for Swart's team. If you are Sid, Cousins 38 and Diggs 30.5, Melvin Gordon 25 and Christian McCaffrey tacked on 15. That is 108.5 of the 129.5. The other 5 guys combined for 21 points. Top heavy. And, oh, by the way, if you're a Vikings fan, Kirk Cousins, 38 points. Fantasy-wise, that is the best game he has had over the last 3 seasons, if not his career. And, oh, by the way, probably was one of the best games of his career, and you still couldn't beat a one-legged Aaron Rodgers. Why don't you just take those little division championship, NFC champions, Super Bowl champions, whatever they may be, aspirations, and tuck them down in that pocket, and just let them sit there for a while and hold your horses. If you're Swart, oh my gosh, speaking about horses, the Kansas City offense has thoroughbreds running up and down the field, and Patrick Mahomes, my God, 42 points. Just an absolute nightmare for any opposing defense right now, but that's pretty much where it stops for Swart. Almost half of his points came from Patrick Mahomes. Hilton tacked on 13.5. Kareem Akazi, not really part of the offensive explosion in Kansas City. We'll see if that changes going forward. Had 10.5. And Royce Freeman, a really high pick. Lots of people super high on Royce Freeman. 6 points. Not quite living up to the hype yet. Deshaun continues to fight old man Father Time. Jackson on the bench with 20. Can Fitzmagic keep that going? I don't know. However, Swart falls to 0-2. Sid goes to 1-1. And we go to the stud, the dud, and the decent update. Stud of the week. Roethlisberger hit 34. Patrick Mahomes hit 42. But one player led his team in scoring, and one player, with that effort, willed his team to the second victory of the year, undefeated, the Pack Attack, and Mason Crosby. You are the stud of the week. I know you missed one late. That was a bummer. But you, my friend, stud of the week here in the FTFL. Dud of the week, we smelt it earlier. This individual averaged 8.7 points a week last year. Those 8.7 would have gotten him in the victory this week. However, Rex Burkhead, you dropped a big fat 0. And so your team lost. And we move on. Deesum update this week. Actually, Ryan Deesum left Matt Ryan on the bench. 28 points could have helped him get a win. I pointed it out. Saltmarsh pointed it out. I left Watkins and Hogan on the bench. Combined, they would have had me win by 1 point. And lest us not forget, John kept a kicker. Park Rapids Police Department, if you've got a moment, please pull this man over and give him a citation. It's an embarrassment to everyone. Even though, however, he's winning. We'll see. As we go into week 3, the matchups are as follows. Hulkamaniacs at 0-2 just looking for a victory. And guess what? So is the Salt Shaker Dance. Someone's O has got to go. Unless, of course, we tie, which then means we'll still both be looking for win number 1. King of the North at 1-1 taking on Manah, 3-time Lucky Pants champ Manah at 1-1. These two teams have seen each other, I believe, in the Fantasy Bowl on 3 separate occasions. No, lots. I don't even know what I want to say about that. They played each other a ton. They both know each other well. How well, I guess you'd have to ask them after a few drinks. Pit of Misery at 1-1. Dilly Dilly taking on Team Linkowitz, who right now is the best in the league at 2-0. The Radioactive Monkeys and the Pack Attack will meet up again this week, as will Ryan Deesum and his tucked into his pants line titties and balls, and the Architect both coming in at 1-1. Rematches. Divisional games back to back. Getting them out of the way. Let's see what happens if we have the same results, different results. Who knows? That's it, folks. We are going to wrap up the weekly update for week 2. Thanks again for watching. I appreciate the support. Have a great week. Good luck for week 3. And Fargo, we're behind you. Get better. Till next time. Peace! All right, Magic 8 Ball. It has been a rough couple of weeks. Please, break it to me. Am I going to make the playoffs? Ask again later. No, I actually kind of want the answer right now. I'm going to ask you now. Magic 8 Ball, am I going to make the playoffs? Future looks bleak. Boy, that could mean a lot of things. That's not really very specific. Magic 8 Ball, why don't you just try again? Magic 8 Ball, am I going to make the playoffs? I'd rather not say. Oh, you'd rather not say, because, listen, I'll decide here. You are the Magic 8 Ball. You have one job. That is to answer questions. I am the weekly update host. I do the update. You answer the questions. Let's try this one more time. Magic 8 Ball, am I gonna make the playoffs. Your tone and language is not appreciated. Not appreciated? Oh, listen. Oh, I'm sorry, Magic 8 Ball. I'm sorry that you don't feel appreciated. You know what, Magic 8 Ball? I got some appreciation right here. How about you appreciate this?